Hey, Real Green Ninja here. The video you're about to watch is a supplement to the existing tutorials and help videos already available on the Real Green website. I do take a more casual approach because I'm presenting this information as I would if you called in, although I may have a little fun with it. This video is based upon the information I, as a Real Green technician, would provide using my experience on the help desk. This video was created on my own time to assist with areas of the software that may be waiting for an official help video or tutorial. At the beginning of the training video, I will have the version of the Service Assistant the video was made with. I will also try to be as accurate as possible, but be aware, as Service Assistant updates are released, things may change. I'm using the name Real Green Ninja as not to stand out from the other amazing technicians that I work with. I hope the information in this video helps you, so grab a cup of coffee and I hope you learn something new. Hey, Real Green Ninja here. Today we're talking about the 3 ways of adding customers to Service Assistant. So let's begin. Again, there's pretty much 3 ways of adding new customers into the system. The first way is to go ahead and click the customers button right here at the top and then hit the new button. Once you hit the new, then you can put in your customer's information and so on and so forth. You can select what status you want that customer be in, and then once you have all the information in, you're going to hit save. Now, when you go and add a customer to the system, there are going to be some required fields. If we go to Company Parameters, General Setup, you'll see under the Miscellaneous tab, this is required information for adding a customer. So for example, if I have title as being required, I would have to put something like Dr., Mr., Mrs., and so on and so forth. If you do not want that to be required, then you can uncheck it here, and then that way you don't, might help if we go to edit mode, uncheck here, and then it won't be required. Again, save settings and so on and so forth. So again, like I was saying, as you go through, put in the information, put the zip code in there, put in the information for your technicians, put directions to the home and so on and so forth, flag codes or whatever. Put your information in, save, and then once you save, that is now going to create a customer account for that person. The second way to add customers to the system is this lightning bolt. When you click on this lightning bolt, it's going to go under quick estimate entry. We're going to hit new. Again, it pretty much works the same way as the new customer in that you're going to do 48307 or whatever your zip code is. It's going to throw the thing. Again, you can put the customer information. Now, one thing to be aware of, if you use the lightning bolt to add customers, you have to assign a program or job that you plan to estimate for them. If you do it through the customer screen and then the new button, you don't have to necessarily add services to them at that time. But like I was saying, if you do add it through the lightning bolt, you have to put in something that you plan to estimate. Even if it's something like an estimate service, just to get out to the property to gather the information. And then of course you put in, if they're referred by different customers, source, and so on and so forth. Now, I did do a crash course on quick estimate entry or quick data entry, which is that lightning bolt right there. If you want to actually see it in action, check out that video, and it'll show you how all that stuff actually works. Now, the third way of adding customers to the system, and again, you might want to keep them in the marketing status, or you might even mass change them to a different status, is through marketing customer import. When you're going to do a marketing customer import, you're going to have your marketing list. Let's see, where did I put that? There it is. So I created one here. Again, it's just very basic, and you'll notice I have different information. I have like their title, I have first name, last name, their street address, city, state, zip. I even had a latitude, longitude, customer size, as well as an email address, phone number, and if they're tied to a particular company. Now, one thing that you have to be aware of, and this is the most common mistake I've seen with customer lists, is when you go to import a customer list, the city, the state, and the zip have to be in separate columns. They cannot be in the same column. All right? You can't have Rochester, Michigan in the same column. They have to be in separate columns. If you don't have that, then you're going to run into a problem. Also, you're going to want to make sure that the zip codes that you are importing are on your zip code table to make it easier to import. Because otherwise, it's going to kick up a message saying, hey, you have invalid zip codes, and you're going to have to put the zip code in. A couple other things, and again, I'm planning to do a video on just marketing customer imports. Oh, I got to resize my window a little bit. You're seeing my background. There we go. One thing to be aware of is sometimes this information might be kind of off a little bit. Again, you might have the company as the first and last name. Again, it's one of those things I'm planning to do a video on actual marketing customer list imports. Right now, I'm just doing how to import the customer just to show you how to add them to the system. So once you have your spreadsheet and everything looks good, then let's go back into Service Assistant here. There we go. What you can do is you can go to Tools, Utilities, and then Marketing Utilities, and then Marketing Import. Now, here's the thing. Because this is a utility where it could possibly change a lot of information at one time, if you plan to import a marketing customer list, make sure to call Real Green if you're a hosted customer and have that manual data backup made. If you're a local install customer, like you have terminal server environment, or you actually have the server in the office itself and so on and so forth, the main Real Green computer, you want to make sure to get a manual data backup made before you do the import. If you're not sure how to do it on the local install, give Realgreen a call and we can help you get that data backup made. Again, we would have to have access to the server to do it, though, so keep that in mind. So we're going to go ahead and hit Marketing Import. Now, again, it's going to remind us to do that backup. We're going to go ahead and click Yes. Now, again, this is going to import them as marketing customers. There's ways of mass changing statuses. Again, I do plan to do a crash course on how to do the marketing list import, and I'm also going to include how to change status. Again, we're just talking about adding to the system. You're going to select where that spreadsheet is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my desktop here, and oh, son of a gun, I'm going to have to clear out that name, and I'm going to zoom down real quick. Okay, there we go. So again, I'm gonna have to clear out that email address too. That's showing there. So you're gonna see little black squares in the spots I don't want you to see. So again, we're gonna go ahead and select our marketing customer list. It's gonna ask if the first row has column names, and what that means, does it say name, address, and so on and so forth across the top? If it does, you're gonna click yes. Now, if you've gotten this list from like Outlook, or not Outlook, QuickBooks, or from another third party or something, it's possible they may have some special formatting in that first row. Maybe they have bold printing or underlining or something like that to help kind of, call out the names or whatever. If they do that, sometimes it can cause a little bit of a wonky thing where you can't actually see what the names of those columns are. The easiest thing to do is convert it to what's called a CSV file, or comma separated value. Pretty much you can open up Microsoft Excel, just do a save as CSV, and then you can save it as a different file type. And the reason why, because if I click this drop down, you'll see it actually says title. So again, it's nice and neat. I can see, column for column what I want to import. Now, if you remember back in grade school and you had 2 rows of words and you have to draw a line between those words that are common or they're the same, this is exactly what you're doing. So I'm going to map title to title. And again, yours might not be as pretty. I mean, I set mine up so this would make the video easier. If you have the company, we can put the company in. Even though the company doesn't show up on this first one, we're still going to put the company in there because I have that as a field. If their whole name is in one column, then you can choose the whole name drop down here. But if their name's split up like mine is, I would do last name to last name, first name to first name. Again, depending on how your spreadsheet's laid out, you may have to do some modifications or alterations to it. We can help you get it to this point. We can explain what you need to do. But as far as editing the sheet itself, that would be kind of on you. All right. Now, because the whole address is in the same column, I'm going to go ahead and choose whole address. If the house number was in its own column, the street name was in its own column, then yeah, you'd have to map those out. And again, if I have address line 2, I can select address line 2. And then again, like I said, the city, the state, and the zip have to be in separate columns. Oops, I didn't mean city. There we go. They have to be in separate columns so we can bring them in. All right. Now this one also has property sizes because mine just so happened to it. If you have the property sizes, you can even put them into the system in one fell swoop. If you don't have property sizes, that's okay. You just wouldn't map that out. You'd also map out their phone numbers. There's my phone number there. And then, of course, you can go down there and keep on going, and then map out their email address. And there we go. All right. Now, I have latitude, longitude. If you have that information, you can bring it in, but you don't have to. And you'll notice here we have quite a few fields that we can import. All right. Now, some of these I've never touched. I've never, ever done a flag code import because most of them don't have it. I have no clue what FIPPS 5 char code is or CHR code. So again, there are going to be things that you're probably not going to import. Now, if it's a customer list from a company that you purchased, okay, or if it's a customer list in your new customer for Realgreen, and you want to have the customer numbers or your old customer numbers in the system, we can't directly do a one-to-one relation. We can't bring a customer in as customer number 42 or whatever. But what we can do is we can go through and give them a reference number. Let's see here. Now my spreadsheet doesn't have that reference number, but like I said, we can do as a reference number. Where is it? Oh, maybe it was alternate number. Yeah, I think it might have been alternate number. But again, we can bring it in. Yeah, I think it was alternate number. It's alternate number here, and it's reference number on the other part. So like I said, again, sometimes terminology is a little wonky. But like I said, as long as you have this information, you can bring it in. Now, if you purchase a company, and let's say they have the other customers have balances, or again, you're bringing it from your old software into Realgreen. Unfortunately, we can't directly import balances using the marketing customer import, but what we can do is we can bring them in as a customer memo, all right? And then because I'm sorry to say, you do want to go through the customers you import. Again, assuming it's not a marketing list you bought from RealGreen or an actual marketing list. If this has, if it's a list from your old software or from QuickBooks or whatever, you still want to go through the customers' accounts just to make sure everything looks good. But you can bring that balance in as a memo and then make an adjustment on the customer's account to bring their balance to where it should be. And most people have like opening balance credit, opening balance debit on their adjustment list that they can choose. Again, adjustments, different video. Now, once you have all your fields mapped out, you're going to select a source. Now, I usually recommend having a unique source for every import that you do. And again, keep in mind, sources and flag codes can be added under customer parameters, sources here, and then the flag codes can be added here. And the reason why, it makes it easier to find these customers in the future. So again, you're going to select your customer source, and again, maybe it's existing customer, select a flag code, maybe it's 2013 marketing data, and then you're going to hit begin import. When you hit begin import, it's going to give you a preview of the layout. Now, if you see the house number and street name in the same field up here, that means we didn't map it correctly, or if you see the house number in the street name field, we didn't map it correctly. But again, it gives you a chance to look at that information to make sure you did map it out correctly. So you'll see, yeah, my company name's in there, so everything looks good to me. Once you're sure everything looks good to you, you don't have to go through everyone, but at least look through some of them to make sure it looks okay. Then you're going to hit import to marketing data. Now, if there are any duplicates on that marketing list that we just import, it will then tell you that there's a duplicate here. And the only reason I'm going into detail right now, because again, we're talking about adding the customers, but I also want to explain what to look for when adding the customers. What this is going to show you is going to show you this is the duplicate that came in on the spreadsheet. This is the customer that is currently in your database. Now you can decide if you want to import the selected duplicates, and it'll create a second user account or a service account in Service Assistant with a completely different account number and everything. You can delete selected duplicates. You can delete duplicates matching active customers, again active being 8 and 9. Delete duplicates matching canceled customers with balances. Again, if they have money and they're canceled or the balance and cancel, we'll delete those. Duplicate customers that are on this list. Delete duplicates with a matching last name and or phone and last name, as well as you could overwrite the customer data. Again, this is why it's important to have that data backup, because if you realize you made a mistake, the only thing we could really do it once we had pulled the trigger on all these things is to restore the backup and start all over. All right. You can also delete customer invoice and worksheets when the last name changes, or memo tab and the last name changes. Again, if you're doing something that's an active status. Again, we don't recommend it, but you can if you want. Now, if the customer was a duplicate, but they were a marketing status customer, the new marketing list is going to overwrite the old marketing customer information as far as name and phone number stuff, because it's assumed that this new list you're importing is more up-to-date information. All right. If you don't do anything, then you can leave it. Now, it's going to prompt you to geocode. You do have to have Mapping Assistant or Routing Assistant to be able to do geocoding. I'm not going to do it right now, but if you're not quite sure what to do with those duplicates will stay on there until you figure out what you want to do with them. And we can go back to the Duplicates tab here. Now, if I decide to delete them, I can select them individually with the check marks. Again, you can scroll down the list if you have multiple ones, and it'll show you each of the active customers. I'm going to go ahead and select all. Again, we'll select all of them, and then I'll delete the selected duplicates, and then it will remove them from this. This will clear list out for you. Okay. So again, that part was a little bit longer, but again, pretty much 3 ways: customer screen, new button, add the customer information; lightning bolt, new button, add the customer's information. But remember, lightning bolt, you have to pick a program or job to estimate. I keep saying this incorrectly. Or tools, utilities, marketing import. Again, those are the 3 ways to bring customers into Service Assistant. So I hope that helps, and you guys have yourself a wonderful day.